All right, quick little motivation for you today. Today, I want to talk about the fact that you don't have to be brilliant 100% of the time. In fact, you don't even have to be brilliant 50% of the time. And I hear this from a lot of my students, and sometimes I fall into this trap myself where I feel like everything I play in a solo has to be groundbreaking and the hippest thing that anybody's ever heard. And usually, the more that I think this way, the worse my playing actually is. And the reason is nobody can be totally brilliant all the time. Even the greatest musicians in history, your heroes, a lot of the stuff that they played was very repetitive, pre-planned, and basic. And I think when some people hear those three things that I just mentioned, they think those are bad things. I would argue that they're really good things. Because if you have a foundation of these very sort of basic but decent sounding things that you can play reliably, the chances for you occasionally playing something brilliant get higher and higher and higher. But if all you're trying to do is play 100% earth-shattering ideas that nobody's ever heard before, your chances for actually pulling that off get lower and lower and lower. So I would argue that if you play very, very basic information, but you play it with a good sound, good articulation, and good time, it is going to sound better and people are going to like it more than if you knew every chord substitution known to man and we're playing 100% exclusively double time lines in the altissimo register of the saxophone and we're trying to play stuff to literally melt people's faces off 100% of the time. So here's a thought that I want you to keep in mind that I think is really going to help you, especially if you're at a certain level. Instead of asking yourself, how brilliant and original and groundbreaking is the stuff that I'm playing? And replace that thought with, does this sound good? And I know that that seems like such a general term. Of course, we all want to sound good. But if you start thinking this way, what you will realize is that when you are trying to play that extremely advanced, super complicated stuff, if you interject the thought of, does this sound good? A lot of times the answer will be no. So then you have to reevaluate your whole position, the whole way that you're thinking about what you're playing. And that's not a bad thing. So I want you to try that. And there's a caveat that goes along with this. This whole idea, the idea behind this whole video, I'm talking about when you're actually playing. So when you're on stage playing at a gig, or you're at a jam session, or you are playing with friends, or whatever kind of musical situations you find yourself in where you're actually performing, where you're actually doing the thing, you're playing songs and you're playing solos. That's where I want you to think about this. In the practice room, I do think we should be working on trying to get to the next level. And that necessitates us not sounding as good and pushing our limits. And yes, trying to reach the next level of playing the more complicated stuff, playing the more advanced things. But you have to understand there's always going to be a gulf between where you are in the practice room, what you're working on, and what you can actually do on stage. But now here's the beauty of always trying to push yourself in the practice room, but understanding that you're going to sort of go back a level on stage, is that the more you keep practicing, the more advanced topics seem basic to you. So when I say play basic information that sounds good, that is going to mean something different for all of us depending on what level we're at. But I want you to think about that the next time you're performing or playing in a jam session or playing with friends, all those situations that I talked about. The first thought that should pop into your mind is, let me make this sound good. Let me make it swinging. Let me make the audience want to hear more from me. And I think, and I hope that overall you'll be happier with your solos. And then, like I said, if we back that up with consistent and constant growth in the practice room, constant challenging of oneself, you'll notice your level and the things that you feel are basic continue to grow and grow and grow at a pretty steady pace. So let me know what you think about all this. Happy to have a discussion in the comments. But this is something I've been thinking about this week after working with a lot of my students, and I figured I'd hop in and do a quick video on this. Hope you're all doing well out there. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, please consider hitting the thumbs up. That's the best thing you could do for this video to get it out to more people just like you. And if you're not already, you might as well subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss a video. Most of all, thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Hope we brought you value, and we'll talk to you soon.